Well, that was forgettable. Lakers went into game one with a ton of confidence and damn near everyone picking them to kick the crap out of the T-Wolves in this series in 4 or 5, maybe 6 games. But most people were thinking this is going to be not a very tough series for the Lakers. I mean, I said 5 or 6 games just because I wasn't quite sure how the Lakers would handle their physicality. And yeah, I was right. They couldn't handle it, and Nas Reed went off just the way I predicted he would. The Timberwolves are. I thought they were the best matchup for this team, and let's just dive into this first. Welcome to the Jello Jiggling podcast. If you haven't been here before, I am your host Ryan Ward. I come at you once, twice, maybe 3 times a week, just giving the lowdown with the Lakers, and here it is. And I didn't turn off my emails or my phone. Hello. So welcome to the show. Anyway, the Lakers started off pretty quick against this team. Luca had a patented, something that we're getting really used to as Laker fans. First quarter, I think he had 16 points in the first quarter, and he was just on fire. He was showing why the Timberwolves are just no match for him in any way, shape, or form. They have no answer for him. He was scorching hot, and nobody else really chipped in much in that first quarter, but it didn't seem to matter. I think they were up by 7 going into the second quarter, and then all hell broke loose. Things just got totally disconnected. The Lakers could not hang with the Minnesota defense. I think the Minnesota defense is really good. I mean, better than I thought. And they can't guard a guy who's just generational, incredible scorer. Who no team in the league has an answer for Luca. I mean, look at OKC, top team in the league right now, at least in the West. They got no answer for Luca. Minnesota's exactly the same way. They got no answer for him. And then they do these switches. The very first play of the game, they do a switch, or they switch from I can't remember who was guarding Luca at the time. But Rudy Gobert's on him. With like 30 seconds in, and it's exactly what Luca talked about before going in. How he loves going up against centers. He just loves, manipulating that mismatch, and he did. He was scoring at will, like literally at will. They had no answer. He couldn't be contained. I thought it was going to be another huge night for him offensively, and it did turn out to be. I mean, he was the lone bright spot on this Laker team. 37 points. Excuse me. 8 rebounds, 2 steals. One weird stat, 1 assist. I don't think I've ever seen that from Luka, like being with the Lakers or Dallas for that matter. 1 assist. That's how good this defense is, because Luka draws so much tension, right? That he gets all of his guys open. Dorian Finney-Smith, Gabe Vincent, Rui, Austin Reeves, Jordan Goodwin. Damn near anybody that gets on the floor is going to get an open shot for the most part, or like just be butt naked, wide open, as DFS likes to say. But this game was just different. I mean, it was talk about on-ball defense, and these guys just giving them no space to breathe. Luka thrives in that environment offensively, like in terms of scoring, but getting these other guys involved, it just doesn't seem to happen, or at least it didn't happen tonight. Nobody scored above 19 points outside of LeBron James, outside of Luca and LeBron. Austin Reeves had an awful night. He was just not good. He couldn't get going. I think Minnesota came in with a game plan and let Luca. I mean, not let Luca go off, but hey, we'll live with that as long as he doesn't get everybody else going. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, at one point, this team had 6 points off the bench. It was 1 3 from Gabe and 1 3 from DFS. And I remember even tweeting, being like, well, it looks like DFS and Gabe Vincent are still locked in from the regular season. Well, no, they weren't, because they went ice cold after that. Was it 1 for 3 for Gabe, 1 for 3 for DFS from deep, and then Vando? No, he went through 3 from the floor, and he essentially didn't do anything either. It was rough. I mean, it was rough. It got to the point where you're just like, okay, there's no way that they're getting back in this. And they did make a run. They did make a run there ironically in the third quarter, which is a quarter they do not excel at whatsoever. But that second quarter just really kicked them in the nuts. Minnesota scored 38 points to their 20, and it just totally took. The game was over. The game was over at halftime. Essentially, it was over at halftime. Lakers didn't even come close to outscoring them from then on out each quarter, and it was just more and just compounding. And then, what's crazy is Anthony Edwards didn't even have a great game in the first half either. I think he scored like 8 points. He just wasn't much of a factor. And then he got a cramp at one point, and he was out for the majority of the third, I want to say. I think it was the third quarter. And that's when they went on their crazy run. They led by 27 points was the biggest lead of the game. 27 points. But there's some telling stats in here, right? So there's fast break points, 25 points. So it's definitely something that teams are keying in on around the league. Obviously, only one team has to do it right now, but play fast, get out on the run, and just force these guys to play transition defense, which they can't do. They just can't seem to do it. So it was 25 fast break points to 6 for the Lakers. Points in the paint, 44 to 32 in favor of Minnesota. There was a point there, too. There was a tipping point where Minnesota was just keying in on the fact that the Lakers got nobody to guard them in the paint. They got no answer for Gobert, no answer for Reed. I mean, Gobert didn't do anything offensively tonight. He was essentially he was a type that did more with not in this, that didn't show up in the stat sheet at all. He had 6 rebounds and 2 points. He attempted 2 field goals, which pissed me off because I had him. I think it was higher 8 points or 10 points or something like that. And I'm just waiting for him to get a few dunks. I mean, even though I'm actively hoping the Lakers turn things around, I still have, when you do underdog, you have to do 2 players on one team and at least 1 player on the opposing team, right? To make the wager work. And so I had him. I had a couple going in that game, and I thought I was going to get something today because I had all these advanced analytics from RotoWire, which I can't believe I've been working for them since December, and I didn't know about this stuff, like the in-depth, stuff where it gives you the odds of like how many times is this stat hit for this player or this prop or whatever. I'm like, oh my god, this is because I won the other night, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm doing this every time. So go to RotoWire, sign up. I mean, this is not a plug. I'm not getting paid for this or anything. This is just something that I learned on my own, digging in my own, or the job that I work for, the website. And I was impressed, dude. I was really impressed. But I will say, okay, going back to the game, Naz Reid is he's their kryptonite. If for whatever reason Naz Reid just has the skill set that just crushes the Lakers every time. 23 points off the bench in 31 minutes, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. The guy missed 4 shots all night long and hit 6 for 9 from deep. I knew it was coming. I called it. In multiple podcasts, I called it. I said, Naz Reid is going to be a problem. And that's exactly what happened. He was a problem. Him and Jaden Daniels. That's one guy I didn't see. I knew Daniels or McDaniels was good, but I didn't know he was this good. He had 25 points, a team high 25 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal. He missed 2 shots. He went 11 for 13 from the floor and perfect from deep, 3 for 3. Anthony Edwards, obviously he's a big name, and he came one assist and 2 rebounds shy of a triple-double. He had 22 points, but he didn't have that kind of explosive, oh my God, that's Anthony Edwards, he's the future of the league type performance. This was such a well-rounded performance between 4 guys. There wasn't a lot of guys that chipped in, like Dante DiVincenzo, who I love that guy's game. He went 1 for 5 from deep, so that kind of essentially took him out of the running, but he's good defensively as well. 2 steals, 4 assists, and 5 rebounds. So he's just one of those guys who can kind of do a little bit of everything. Alexander Walker, 7 points off the bench. You know what? I was talking to a friend of mine, Nav, before I got on here, and we're just shooting the shit about the game and what I saw, what he saw, because he works the Mamba Academy, right, with Phil Handy. So he knows his stuff. He knows his basketball, and I said I think this team is kind of built to beat the Lakers. Like they just have they check all those boxes, right? They've got a superstar who can score 40 points on any given night and can kind of do a lot of everything. The 9 assists, the 8 rebounds. He can play defense. He's an incredible 3-point shooter now. He went 4 for 9 tonight, but that's still pretty damn good, And then they got a kind of a bruiser in Julius Randle, who had a so-so night, but still made an impact. If you watch the game, you can tell he made an impact. And then Jaden Daniels, who can do obviously offense and defense, and he can impact the game, and he can change the game, which he did tonight in a big way. I knew he would play well, but I thought it would be more defensively, not offensively like this. Not 25 points. Like, there's no way. And 9 boards on top of that. The Lakers got a problem here. This is not good. And then there's Jackson Hayes, played 8 minutes. 8 minutes. The Lakers basically went small the entire game because Jackson Hayes was a complete zero. He had 1 point and 3 rebounds in 8 minutes, minus 11. And then obviously, Koloko and Trey Jemison are ineligible because they're two-way players. So your only big option is Alex Lynn, and that's about it. And then Markieff Morris, who didn't play, was DNP. Lynn played 3 minutes. 3 minutes. So they're trying to beat a big team that thrives kind of inside and out and plays defense with a smaller lineup. And I just don't know if that's going to work. I thought, maybe just the pure talent of the Lakers, their big three, LeBron, I was about to say AD, wow. Luca and AR were enough, but LeBron didn't look like himself. I mean, he struggled at times. I mean, he still had, 3 blocks, 19 points, 3 assists, and 5 rebounds, but it just didn't feel like a typical LeBron playoff game. He had one crazy block, which was kind of vintage LeBron, but that's about it in terms of highlights for him. I mean, he missed a few bad shots, a few bad turnovers, 4 turnovers. But it's just, I feel like there's not enough guys on this team to make up for their deficiencies. Do you know what I mean? Like, they have obviously 2 of the best players. I mean, LeBron, one of the best players of all time, and then Luka's probably going to be in that conversation when it's all said and done. And then AR, who's a rising star, who many think is the best third option in the league. But then it's just a serious drop off, right? Like, if DFS isn't hitting shots, his value goes way down. Same goes for Gabe Vincent. Vando's good defensively at times, but he's kind of a zero offensively. He only played 14 minutes. Rui is very. I mean, he got embarrassed by Anthony Edwards today. He got put down in kind of a bad way. And Edwards didn't finish the play. He got fouled by Gabe Vincent, but then they got challenged and he got overturned. So, but it doesn't matter. That the highlight of Rui getting, just destroyed at the top. I think it was top key or like behind the 3-point line on the left side. That's good. That's, a lot of people are going to remember that. And it's just, I just don't know if they're good enough all around. I just don't know. I knew this was going to be one of those games where you're going to see their flaws in your face. Like, it's just going to be undeniable. This team can't play championship defense. And I hate to say it like that because of Nico Harrison's crap that he keeps coming out with. But it is kind of true right now that they're just they're not good enough defensively. They struggle in transition. I mean, and teams, they literally have a blueprint of what to do against them now. And this game just further cemented it. Like, okay, just do this again. Do it again. And unless you have an insane Luka game and an insane LeBron game in the same game, and then maybe even need 20 points from Austin Reeves, then you're going to beat them 9 times out of 10. It sucks to look at it this way because I honestly thought that the scales would tip, way in favor of the Lakers, just like everybody else in America. But the hype train is always on the Lakers side because they're one of the most popular franchises in professional sports in the world, right? They make money for a ton of people, including me, right? Like they just a lot of people depend on their success, right? So pumping them up, hyping them up, it just makes it a cash making machine for a lot of people. And sometimes when that happens and that media circus gets rolling, it can blind you of what's actually in front of you, and it can blind you what's going on and what's about to happen. And clearly that was the case tonight, and it could be the case moving forward, because I hate to say must win on any game that's not an elimination game, because I feel like that eliminates any potential for a comeback or just things that we get inspired by in sports, right? Like teams that can just pull it off. Like was a Team USA hockey team, back in the day. I can't remember what year that was, with beat Russia and then just the stunning upset. You know what I mean? It's like stuff like that wouldn't happen. That's the stuff that we thrive on. That we're all about the underdog. We're all about that story that everybody wants to be able to tell and say, oh, I was there, or I saw this, or I witnessed this. I remember Liverpool one time came back down from 4-0 aggregate, I think, against Barcelona in the Champions League. And that was insane. Absolutely insane. One of the best comebacks I've ever seen in my life. That was a few years ago, but just stuff like that, like that goes out the window. So I hate saying must win, but I honestly think game 2 is a must win. If they go down 0-2, losing 2 at home to Minnesota, they're in some serious trouble. They're already in trouble. Because, like I said, Minnesota has that blueprint sitting right in front of them, and now they got a bunch of film on it. On top of that, like, hey, we knew this going in. Hey, nobody's picking us to win this series, so we got that added motivation. They literally have nothing to lose. I don't think there's any expectations on Minnesota right now. If they lose, that's it. They go into the summer, they figure out how they're going to put another piece around Anthony Edwards, and they head into next season with all the hope or whatever. But there's nobody called Minnesota a title contender during the season. Maybe before the season, but not during the season, because they just saw Julius Randle just didn't fit the same way Carl Towns did. But he seems to have found his way. I still Julius Randle drives me crazy the way he plays. It's so like unconventional. It's not the word for it. It's just he just always reminds me of a bull in a china shop. He just runs over people. He takes bad shots, and he's he can be a problem. He can disrupt your offense, and he's not a great defender either. And then at one play today, he jumps up. I think he was trying to deflect a pass or something, and he just lands his whole body weight on Luca. And then Luca gets up, and he's still on the ground. He's like rubbing his right thigh. I want to say right or his left. I think it was left, actually. And I'm like, God damn it! Seriously, Luca's potentially hurt because this idiot couldn't control his body in the air and try to avoid landing on this guy. It's just Julius is a frustrating player, but hey, he's not the Lakers' problem anymore. He's Minnesota's. But I mean, they just had it going all around tonight, and I think they're a much better team than I gave them credit for. Or anybody gave them credit for, really. I'm sure somebody's sitting there with a bet like, oh, I took Minnesota in 5 or 6 or maybe even a sweep. I'm in the running here. I might make a ton of money, but yeah, it's just not a good sign. It's not a good sign at all. I was thinking, what I think the most disappointing thing about it was the fact there was a serious lack of effort. There was no effort. I even tweeted at one point, I'm like, Lakers look lifeless out there, and that's exactly what they did. They just didn't look like they cared. It's like another thing I was saying to Nav earlier. I was like, I think sometimes when Luca has like one of those crazy first quarters, I think that the rest of the team kind of just steps back and kind of like takes it easy and then doesn't take it serious. Like, oh, Luca will just, he'll pave the way. We'll be fine. And then all of a sudden, the other team just starts chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, and then starts exposing, hey, these guys can't really play defense. They have no transition defense whatsoever. We can just chop them up and just get back into this game and create a big lead. And that's exactly what Minnesota did. And they'll probably intend to do the exact same thing in game 2 on Tuesday. And I think they have a decent chance to do it. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but they look like they're built to beat this team. I'm not saying they intentionally hold like we got to beat the Lakers, so let's build the team this way. Or let's trade for Jan. No, it's they just seem to just have that right recipe that can combat this team of basically a few shooters and 3 really good players and no bigs, right? No formidable bigs, no big that could stay on the floor for more than 8 minutes. That's crazy to me because that's kind of like a trend with JJ. I've noticed with Jackson Hayes is if he doesn't like what he sees from Jackson Hayes early, he pulls him and he doesn't put him back in. 8 minutes. That's for a starter, for a starting center against a team with bigs like that. Not a good sign, dude. Especially when you got no depth behind him. I mean, Alex Len is literally a complete zero. Like I said in the last one, he fouled out in 3 quarters against the second team Portland Trailblazers in the regular season finale. What does that tell you? The guy's washed. He's done. He's done. He can't play no more. They took a gamble on him. They thought maybe we get something out of him. Nope. It just sucks, because that if they say they flame out in this first round, they might be looking back at that Mark Williams trade and being like, damn, we should have done that. We should have just let it go through. Taken the chance, taken the gamble, and let it go through. Because Williams played pretty damn good after that trade fell through or was rescinded or whatever they're calling it. So they might be looking at it like, oh, yeah, we could have used that. We could have used that potential, 15 and 10 and a couple of blocks and just a force in the paint. I'm not saying he's a great defender or anything, but he's going to give you problems, just not a good sign, man. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like the energy from these guys, and I think Luca probably felt pretty damn deflated after what he did today, and there's just nobody was helping him. He couldn't get much from LeBron. He couldn't get anything out of Reeves, really. And the role guys weren't stepping up either because they didn't have the space that they're used to having. So it's going to be a crazy adjustment. This is where it gets interesting, though, because this is where it's going to lean on JJ Redick and making adjustments, and the real coaching with real consequences comes in. He's got to figure out this game plan for this next game and how to combat this team and how to almost like camouflage their problems somehow or their issues that can't really be fixed on the fly. I don't know how he's going to do it, to be honest, but it's going to be a hell of a test. Game 2 is going to be a JJ game, a JJ and a Reeves game. I think those 2 guys are going to be the ones under the microscope, because I couldn't believe it today. All this talk about Reeves over the past month, 2 months, essentially ever since Luca got there, right? His game has just kind of gone to another level. How many people were jumping off already? They're just like, oh, Reeves, you're trash, like overrated. I saw that a bunch of times. I'm like, are you serious already? And this is like 3 quarters in. They're already saying, oh, he's overrated. Overrated. I can't believe people just jump to conclusions as fast as they do these days. 3 quarters is all it takes. So that erases the 2 months he was balling out of control and in the conversation for most improved, third best option in the league. And all of a sudden he's overrated. It's like, dude, what happened to like patience, and what happened to like, let this play out a little bit. Like, let's see this. No, it's got to be like an immediate reaction. You got to have an immediate emotional reaction, and it's got to be something that's going to drive a conversation or whatever. It's like, dude, it doesn't work like that. Like, we could be talking on Tuesday at the same time Tuesday night, and it could be Reeves goes off for 35, 40 points. I wouldn't be shocked to see it happen. I really wouldn't. I think the guy's got it in him, and I think the Lakers all know that too. Coaching from the coaching staff down to Luca to LeBron to the majority of fans, I would think, I hope. But it's just this kind of like this turn, like in the way they view a guy who's just done nothing but just ball out and exceed expectations. It's just so shitty. I hate to see it because it just because it it carries over to the younger generation, and they look at this like, well, that's how to be. Just react right away. Like, just don't think. God forbid you think. Let's take a shortcut to thinking and just react. Like, just it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. The guy's a baller. He's a baller. He's gonna continue to be a baller. I don't care if he sucks for the rest of the series. He's still a baller. He's still a guy that I think has a way high upside. I don't even know what his ceiling is at this point. I don't think anybody does, um, even him. But give him a break. Give him a break. One bad game. One bad game. You know, it's it sucks because I do see this kind of trend though too. Whenever the Lakers lose or they disappoint the fans, everybody wants to jump off like real fast. Except the diehards are always going to be around there. They'll be pissed, but they're not going to jump off or anything like that. But Jesus, man, it's just rough. It's like I noticed on my YouTube account, like the minute they lost, I saw negative comments on my past like week worth of videos, and I'm like, they just lost 30 minutes ago. What are you talking about? And you're commenting on video that happened days ago? Like, there's nothing super controversial. It was just guys talking after practice. That was it. It's just, this is just a rant. Like, I'm a bit of an old head. I admit it, and I'm kind of proud of it. I don't care. Like, that's how I grew up. That's how I think. That's how I feel. I don't jump to conclusions. I look at something, I assess it. I feel like I'm a relatively intelligent human being. I can figure things out. I've known basketball ever since I was a kid. Why jump to conclusions? Just give it like temper your anger, temper your jump to conclusions. Like I said in Office Space, man, jump to conclusions, man. But just don't do it. Don't do it. It's game one. We'll forget about this game if they go the distance. Even if they go to the next round, we're going to forget about game one. It's just living by every game thing. It's just crazy to me. It's like, how do you guys not have like a heart attack every other day? Like, I don't understand it. The swings and the emotion and all that. It's just, whoa, it's too much. Anyway, I'm going on a rant here, and I said my piece. Said my piece. That's how I be. But got another game Tuesday. It's a later one. I think it's 7. I think, yeah, it's 7 p.m. Pacific. And then I think the next game after that is Friday, if I'm correct. Let me just double check. I need like elevator music whenever I do this stuff. Hold on. Yes. Okay, so it's Friday, and that'll be in Minnesota, and that'll be 6:30 on ESPN. So tomorrow, Tuesday's game, TNT. They're not practicing tomorrow, so there'll be no content coming out about that. It'll just be all the talking head shows going nuts, even though it's Easter Sunday, so I don't know how much of that stuff's going to come out or whatever. Somebody's going to come out with stuff. But so we'll probably have practice on Monday, and that'll be interesting to hear what the guys talk about there. Probably JJ talking almost certainly, and then it'll be – so they always do coach and 2 players. That's kind of like what they do, unless one of those players doesn't want to talk and they can't get another guy to talk. But it's playoffs, so they'll probably, really emphasize, hey, look, you guys need to talk. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's Luca. I doubt it'll be LeBron. It seems like LeBron pushes off media availability as much as he can until he just can't avoid it. Just that's why he talked on, what was it, Friday? After 4 days of practice with no LeBron. But yeah, it'll be interesting to hear what the guys say. Hopefully they get Austin Reeves. I want to hear his take on, he talked tonight, but all the guys were so like down in the dumps, and like they're just giving, basic answers to questions. Even JJ wasn't that pissed, and I was kind of surprised. I'm like, he's gonna be livid because I think he did like a third quarter stand up on the court where he talks, which is always the stupid interviews that they do. They force him in there for some reason, and you could tell he was pissed. Like he just wasn't happy. He said something like, "We need." I tweeted it out. Our guys are basically, to summarize, our guys are basically not playing playoff basketball, and they still think they're in the regular season. So he's basically saying you're not taking any of this seriously and what you're doing. And you look at the effort that they were playing with. Yeah, that's totally on the nose. But I could tell you just look. He has that. He's either one way or he's the other. He's fuming mad, or he's calm as a cucumber. Right? There's no in between with this guy. It's just like one or the other, one or the other. I mean, kind of like the fans that I just described, or people that watch basketball or sports in general, the younger generation. But anyway, so Tuesday I'll get back on here. We'll talk about it. Maybe we'll do something, on Monday after practice, if there's anything interesting that comes out, which I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. And I'm sure we're going to hear some crazy takes from Stephen A. and Perkins and all the guys that like to have their voice heard and get paid millions upon millions of dollars to do it. But anyway, so until then, I'll see you later.